90% of gym rats don't train this, and it shows. And that muscle is the neck. And the neck muscle is honestly one of the most underrated muscles which you should train if you want to have an aesthetic physique. And here are some reasons why. It frames your physique. So if you have a skinny neck and people can only see your face and your neck, if you have a skinny neck, people just automatically think that, okay, you're probably not that strong, you're probably pretty skinny. But the opposite is if you have a thick neck. Now, these are the same pictures with the same people, right? And one of them, the same guy, I think this is the original photo, and this is the photo where they actually photoshopped his neck. And as you can see, like this guy, you just sort of have some more respect for him. He appears more masculine. He appears to, be stronger. And he honestly appears more intimidating by having a thicker neck. Same thing goes with this guy, right? Now, if you were to see this guy, you'd probably think, okay, this guy maybe doesn't even go to the gym. But this guy, on the other hand, he seems very, even though it's the same person with a thicker neck, you just think, okay, like this guy is probably pretty strong, right? Like you can honestly probably beat me in a fight, like this is honestly the primal sort of thinking. And the neck is honestly one of the few things which people actually notice about you first. So imagine like you meet somebody new, right? You don't know who they are, right? And one of the first things which you'll notice is their face. And imagine I'm like wearing something like, I don't know, like maybe like a hoodie or something, The first thing you see is my face, and then your eyes drift to my neck. And honestly, by building a thicker neck, it honestly just makes your physique look way better, and it also balances your proportions and everything. So if you have also a thicker neck, it tends to just also make your jawline look sharper. And honestly, it kind of like complements your facial structure, right? So by building a thicker neck, it's going to make you look more masculine. It's going to make you look more dominant. And when people see you with a thicker neck, it's going to make you just look way more dominant and masculine, right? And let's say that you skip neck training. Let's say that you're something like this guy, right? Like this guy's physique is honestly very incredible. It's very, very impressive, right? And it's even honestly a question if this guy is natural. I mean, I wouldn't say he's natural, but anyway, you would think, okay, I would want this guy's physique, right? Like this guy has an incredible physique, but his neck just kind of like throws everything off. You look at this guy and you think, okay, he has a pretty good physique, but his skinnier neck just throws off his proportions, and he honestly doesn't even look as aesthetic if he were to go ahead and have a thicker neck and maybe some more developed upper traps, right? So building your neck is honestly just going to make you way more aesthetic. It's going to make you look way more dominant, way more masculine. And honestly, people are just going to respect you more by having a thicker neck, because honestly, it just symbolizes that you have higher testosterone levels, right? And people who have higher testosterone levels tend to have thicker necks. So it is literally in our primal brain and everything to go ahead and see people with thicker necks and just associate that this guy is strong. He's capable of defending himself. He's capable of protecting others. And there are also some health benefits to having a strong neck and by training your neck. Now, it improves your posture. And I think everyone pretty much has some level of degree of forward head posture, where basically your head is literally going forward instead of, being like straight and everything. Your head is kind of like going like this. And this happens because we're on the computer screens, a lot. We're on our phones. Even when we're like talking to people, you kind of like tend to just like have your head sort of forward. It's kind of like we probably do this because like we want to like focus better. And like, for example, like, let's say that you're doing something on the computer. If you have your face closer, you just sort of focus better. You can read better and all that kind of stuff. And, all of that is fine. But if you make it a constant habit, it's just going to mess up with your posture, right? You're going to have like this forward head posture. And the extremes of having like this forward head posture, it can result to neck pain and trap pain and headaches, right? I even had this one experience one time where I was going ahead and I woke up in the morning. It was very early. And I just started like working on the computer, right? I was doing like some work on my computer and I worked for like 3, 4 hours and I really didn't take that much of a break, stand up and like stretch and everything. But then hours later, even when I finished doing my work, I just started experiencing headaches like throughout the day. And it was very weird, a headache which I never really experienced. But at the same time, my neck and my traps were relatively tight. And this headache would just like not go away. It was like very weird, right? Especially when I would like move around and everything, I would like move my shoulders, like the headache just sort of increased. And I actually looked it up, and it was because of my because I was staying on the computer for so long, literally hours in a row. I just started developing headaches because of my neck and my traps. They were actually stiff, you know? And by having like this forward head posture, it's just gonna go ahead and make your neck and your traps stiff. And by actually training your neck, it's gonna loosen up those muscles and it's honestly gonna go ahead and prevent headaches. So if you experience headaches due to having a tight neck, tight traps, by actually training your neck, it's gonna loosen up those muscles and it's honestly gonna prevent headaches. A very good benefit to training your neck, especially in combat sports, like you might be doing boxing, you might be doing MMA, you might be even doing rugby, playing any kind of sports, is actually going to go ahead and prevent injuries. And this leads me on to, how did neck training even begin? Now, the first people who actually trained their necks were boxers, because if you're boxing, you're bound to get hit in the head, right? And by training your neck, by strengthening your neck, it's going to prevent injuries, because the neck is honestly something which can get very easily injured, and the injuries which you can experience if you go ahead and actually injure your neck, they are quite severe, right? And another thing is that boxers train their necks, because if you have a strong neck, and let's say that you're boxing and everything, by having a strong neck, if you're getting punched, you're bound to go ahead and have your head going backwards, right? This is like a whiplash, right? Like you're saying you're getting punched and you're going back. Now, if your neck is strong, your head isn't going to go ahead and like go like this, right? Like your head is not going to go ahead and whiplash, right? And this is also going to go ahead and prevent you from being KO'd by having a strong whiplash, right? By your head like literally like going backwards like strong and fast, right? It's going to prevent you from being knocked out. And this is why the primary reason why boxers train their neck. The first thing is to prevent injuries, and the second thing is just to go ahead and have a less likelihood of actually getting KO'd. Now, other people who train their necks are other martial artists, primarily wrestlers, right? Because in their sport of wrestling, especially if you're getting like suplexed, you're getting thrown around a lot, like you can get injured very easily. And if you go ahead and look at wrestling matches, like these people are like falling on their heads pretty much all day, right? Like imagine just like you're getting tossed and thrown, like you're falling on your neck, like on the top of your head, you're falling sideways, all kinds of stuff, right? So by having a stronger neck, even for wrestlers, it's gonna go ahead and prevent injuries, and it's gonna just make you train safer, and it's gonna go ahead and make your neck stronger. And wrestlers were actually the first people to go ahead and invent neck bridges, which is an exercise which also Mike Tyson used to do. And honestly, as I was thinking and making this video, I was thinking like, Mike Tyson is actually the most famous person who trained their neck, right? He was known for his like 20-inch neck. He looks super intimidating, right? Because this guy, he used to train his neck like crazy. He was training his neck every single day, doing tons of repetitions, and he would primarily do neck bridges. Like you've probably seen some like tapes and everything, like some old videos from like the 1990s and everything. He's in a ring and he's actually doing this exercise called neck bridges. And you basically put your head on the ground and you do all kinds of like motions and everything, and it strengthens your neck. And wrestlers were the first people to go ahead and invent this. But I do have to warn you that going to do neck bridges, like you should start off very slow. You should start off very like easy, because honestly, like this exercise it's good for strengthening your neck, but it's also kind of easier to go ahead and get injured, especially if you're very new to neck training. So there's a risk and a reward with this, and you actually have to go ahead and measure the risk to reward ratio for yourself, and to even consider if you should even do this exercise to begin with, because there are other exercises which are way safer. So do it at your own risk. It came to kind of a surprise that the first people who trained their necks weren't actually bodybuilders. They were actually, martial artists. And especially during the mass era of the 1990s, bodybuilders they wanted to go ahead and get as big as they can, right? So they started training their necks as well. So how should you go ahead and start training your neck for yourself? Now, I put 2 exercises, which I personally do myself about 1 to 2 times per week. And they're the kind of like core basic sort of exercises for training your neck. Now, you can also do these exercises without any sort of weight. You can do this at home. The only thing which you do is just go ahead and you perform the exact same exercise just without weights. So for the standard neck curl, you basically lie flat on a bench. You can lie flat on a bed, anywhere, and you have your head tipping over, right? So basically like you're lying flat, and you can just go ahead and move your head. And what you do is basically, I also recommend you put a little like hat on. You put a little beanie, because if you don't put a hat on or a beanie, you can possibly, as you're having the plate, it's honestly very uncomfortable to have like a plate on your head without a hat, without a beanie. And you can also get like a little like stamp on your forehead from the plate itself. So it's way more comfortable, and it's honestly probably safer to just have like a little hat before you do any of these like neck exercises. But yeah, basically how you perform the neck curl is that you lie on a bench and you have a plate. And I would recommend, especially if you're like new to this and everything, you start off very light, very light. I'm saying like, I don't know, like 1, 2, like 5 kilos at most of weight, and you put it on your head, and you just do this motion. You go up and down as you're like lying flat, and you go ahead and do this. And don't make the mistake of actually like going ahead and making it into a crunch. So you're not going like this, you're not flexing your abs, you're just moving your neck. You're going up and down, up and down. The only thing which you do is just you hold the weight on your forehead so it doesn't like slip, or if it doesn't like fall, like smash your face or whatever. You hold it and you just go up and down, up and down, and don't make it into a crunch. Like the first few times I actually did it myself, I turned it into a crunch. So you're going like down, and then you're going up, and you just like flex your abs sort of simultaneously. As for the side neck curls, I also do about like 2 sets with this. Is that you just also like lie on a bench, and you just put the plate on the side of your head, and you just go also up and down, up and down. And once you're done with one side, for example with your left side, then you go ahead and proceed on with the right side right after. And you just alternate, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You can also do this even if you have like dumbbells. You can do this, but if you don't have any sort of weight, just do it with your own sort of body weight. Like you don't have to go ahead and put on any weight, and you just do the exact same exercises which you do with a weight in the gym. So all of that is good. And you can also do reverse neck curls, where you do the exact same thing with the standard neck curl, but you do it on the opposite side. So basically, instead of doing it on your forehead, you do it on the back of your head. And the only reason why I didn't include this, because I don't personally do it myself, and I think with these 2 exercises you'll be solid. But the only reason why I don't do the reverse neck curl is because it's honestly very uncomfortable to have the weight on the back of your head, and you just do it's pretty much the exact same exercise with the exact same motion, maybe more emphasizing on the back side of your neck, so the back side of your neck muscles. But if you want to do it, you can do it, most definitely. I just personally don't do it because it's honestly kind of very uncomfortable to like have a weight on the back of your head, and it's pretty much the exact same motion. So yeah, if you want to like fully sort of complete your neck training, you can also include a third exercise, being the reverse neck curl. Now, if you want to get fancy, with neck training, here are some neck equipment which you can actually buy, which is actually kind of worth it. Now, the most standard neck equipment is actually the neck harness, which on Amazon you can buy anywhere from like $10 to $40, $50, right? And it's basically you strap like this little like band, and there's a chain which you attach plates as well, and you just do the exact same sort of exercises. I mean, the only pro with the neck harness is that it's probably way more comfortable to have like a neck harness and just have like some plates, and you just do the exact same exercise, right? You just go up and down, up and down. Another thing which you can use is actually resistance bands, and you also can perform the exact same exercises without the resistance band. Honestly, a very big pro, I think, like the biggest pro with using resistance bands. And honestly, if you do the exact same setup as this guy is doing, you basically attach the resistance band to some sort of pole or something, right? Is you can do chin tucks. So basically, imagine like there's the resistance band, the exact same thing as in the photo. You just go like this. You know, these are like chin tucks. And honestly, these are very, very good if you do experience the same thing of having forward head posture. This honestly kind of like corrects the forward head posture. And you can also do this with body weight as well. You just basically do like these chin tucks, and they can actually correct your forward head posture. So yeah, resistance bands, they can be anywhere from like $5 to like $25, depending if you buy one resistance band. If you buy a whole pack of them, they usually are sold in packs. So there's a light resistance band, there's a heavier resistance band, there's a very heavy one, all types of resistance bands. So yeah, you can find some which are pretty cheap. Now, if you want to get extreme, if you want to have like pretty much like the top of the top neck equipment, you can buy an iron neck device. And if you watch Joe Rogan, he actually uses this device, which you basically put like this little hat on, and you just basically you pump it up so it like fits your head, and then you basically also attach it to something like a little like pole or whatever, and you just go like this. You can do like 360s, so you're basically like turning your head, and you're doing all kinds. There's way more like uh motion with this, and honestly, I don't think it's a very good investment. I mean, if you have the money, then most definitely do it, but you honestly don't need any of this neck equipment, right? You can most definitely build a very thick neck by just going ahead and doing like the basic exercises, even with doing body weight. So the standard neck curl, the side neck curls, even like the reverse neck curl, like it's gonna build your thick neck. You don't need really any of this equipment if you don't want to go ahead and buy it. So yeah, that basically sums up my whole video, why you should go ahead and train your neck. And it's honestly going to improve your aesthetics a lot. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And I actually have a Skool community in the description of this video. It's called the Aesthetic Academy, and it is a community with people who want to go ahead and build an aesthetic physique. They want to improve their diets. They want to improve their consistency in the gym. This community is great for people who actually want to go ahead and build an aesthetic physique, and you want to be surrounded with like-minded people. I'll be adding multiple courses soon, so join while the price is still low. And thank you for watching this video, and check out the Skool community below.